This is the harrowing account of the Johnsons, an ordinary family living the island dream in the Bahamas. How did they manage to survive when Hurricane Dorian, one of the most devastating hurricanes in history, struck their beloved homeland? Let's find out. This was the setting of the Johnson family's life in Marsh Harbour, Bahamas. But that all changed in September 2019. The tranquility of their island paradise was shattered by the approach of a monstrous hurricane. It was now one of the strongest hurricanes ever recorded in the Atlantic Ocean. They secured their home, boarding up windows and stacking sandbags to keep the worst of the storm surge at bay. They filled buckets with water, knowing that the storm might disrupt their supply of clean water. The wind, once a gentle caress, now clawed at the shutters, testing their defenses. Each gust seemed to carry a warning, and the calm before the storm had given way to an anxious wait. The power went out, plunging their safe room into darkness. Outside, the hurricane had breached their defenses, tearing part of their roof away and sending their carefully organized preparations flying. Panicked, they watched as rain poured in, each drop drumming a frantic beat on the floor. As the day wore on, the storm's intensity escalated, transforming into a raging beast just beyond their sheltered haven. They clung to each other for support, sharing silent moments of fear and resilience. Their home was coming apart at the seams, and their survival instincts kicked in. They had to get out. There was no respite, no lull in the fury of the wind. For 2 long days, Dorian sat nearly still over the island, unleashing a storm of biblical proportions. Just when their hope was at its lowest ebb, a glimmer appeared in the darkness. The relentless assault of wind and water tested their endurance. Canned food and non-perishable items were gathered to ensure they had sustenance during and after the storm. The familiar faces of their neighbors were missing. The community, which had been their lifeline, was scattered. Debris surrounded them, debris they once called their home. Loss and trauma hung heavy in the air. The joyful laughter of children had been replaced by the somber murmurs of survivors. When hunger pangs struck, they shared the little food they had, finding solace in the knowledge that they weren't alone in this ordeal. Their house was badly damaged, but structurally sound enough to be habitable. The sight of their ruined home brought a fresh wave of emotions: grief, anger, but mostly determination to rebuild. The skies, though still bearing the scars of the storm, started to clear. The Johnsons rebuilt, one wall, one roof, one moment at a time. The sun, though veiled in clouds, attempted to peek through. The road to recovery is long, but the spirit of resilience and unity is stronger. While the physical scars may fade, the memories of this catastrophic event will continue to shape the nation. Their island, their people are bent, but never broken. The devastated landscape bore silent witness to the struggle, but also to the indomitable spirit of the people who called it home. With each passing hour, the wind's fury intensified, signaling the imminent arrival of the storm's full force. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. There are countless tales of courage, loss, and hope that emerged from the rubble. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Each person's narrative is a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming challenges. It was their son's favorite toy, a small beacon of innocence in the face of such devastation. The Johnson story serves as a reminder of the importance of community, the strength of family bonds, and the resilience of the human spirit. Their journey also highlights the crucial role of preparedness and the significance of supporting those who find themselves in the path of such natural disasters. It was a symbol of the lives that had been uprooted, of the dreams that had been shattered, and of the long road to recovery that lay ahead. But it wasn't peace. It was shock. They emerged from their shelter to a scene of utter devastation. Their ordeal had stripped them bare, revealing the raw essence of their being. Despite their own struggles, they reached out to others, offering whatever support they could. They had lost so much: their homes, their belongings, their sense of security. But what they hadn't lost was each other. They had survived, and that was a victory worth celebrating. Flashlights were checked, and batteries were replaced, casting a reassuring glow amidst growing darkness. Cars were overturned, boats littered the streets, and the Johnsons' home, once a symbol of their love and life, was barely standing. The full force of the hurricane had been unleashed and left its mark. The eye of the storm set its sights on the Bahamas, and the idyllic rhythm of island life was replaced by the urgent beat of preparation. Wrapping themselves in blankets, they sheltered in place, waiting for the storm to pass. Winds screamed at 185 miles per hour, rain lashed against their home like bullets. Trees bent under the weight of the storm, and power lines crackled and sparked. They sang songs to keep their spirits high, telling jokes to break the tension, and whispered stories to keep their minds off the chaos outside. Each crash of thunder seemed to shake their very core. Meteorologists sounded the alarm, predicting a major hurricane. But no one could have imagined the full scope of what was coming. Their days were filled with the laughter of children playing on the pristine beaches, and evenings were spent watching breathtaking sunsets over the ocean. The rising water was a constant threat, a reminder of the destructive power of the hurricane. Yet they persevered, finding strength in their unity. They were blessed to call this place home. Welcome back, everyone. Today we are taking you on a journey to the Bahamas, where turquoise waters meet endless horizons and swaying palm trees whisper tales of paradise. Their lives were simple, beautiful, and free. Dorian began to intensify rapidly, jumping from a Category 1 to a terrifying Category 5 in mere hours. As the threat of the hurricane loomed larger, the Johnsons sprung into action, driven by years of living in a tropical climate and heeding the advice of emergency services. They huddled together that night, their home transformed into a fortress against the impending wrath of nature. Although no one uttered a word, the unspoken question echoed in their hearts, "Will we make it?" Behind the walls of their home, their determination stood firm. They were ready to weather the storm. As dawn broke, the skies wore a menacing gray. The Johnsons stayed in their specially designated safe room, monitoring the situation, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of a battery-powered lantern. Then suddenly, a sound cut through the roar of the wind. Huddled together, they knew this was the real test, a battle against the unforgiving forces of nature. Moving with purpose born from desperation, they made their way to the bathroom, their last line of defense. The next 48 hours were a blur of sound and fury. The hurricane didn't just arrive, it roared. The Johnsons held on, clinging to hope that the storm would eventually pass. As the storm raged on, the water level began to rise, creeping closer and closer to their makeshift shelter. The storm continued to hold the island in its grip. They rationed their water, making sure they had enough to drink and to stay hydrated. As the saying goes, the darkest hour is just before the dawn, and that was true for the Johnsons. When the winds finally slowed and the skies cleared, an eerie silence fell. Their neighborhood was flattened. Yet amidst the destruction, there was something even more profound, a sense of collective loss. In the aftermath, the Johnsons found themselves in a surreal world. But amidst the ruins, the human spirit shone through. In the days following the storm, they found solace in shared stories, each tale a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. A few days after the storm, when conditions were just bearable enough, the Johnsons ventured out to assess the damage to their home. But as they surveyed the wreckage, they noticed something that stopped them in their tracks. A lone stuffed animal peeking out from a pile of debris. Slowly, life began to stir again in the aftermath. Help did arrive, but it was slow. Days turned into weeks, then months, and the scars of the storm began to fade, but not the memories. As the Bahamas begin to heal, let their story be a beacon of hope. In the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, the Bahamas became a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity. The Johnsons' story is just one among many. In the wake of such a devastating storm, it is essential to remember those affected. The rebuilding process is long and arduous, but with each passing day, the Bahamian spirit shines brighter, demonstrating that unity and determination can overcome even the most challenging obstacles. So let us take inspiration from the Bahamas, a nation that in the face of immense suffering showed us what it means to be truly resilient. Are you inspired by the Johnsons' story? How do you think they managed to stay so positive? And that's all for today's episode. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more updates. Thank you for watching.